So it's time for a new era in healthcare, era 3. And I think we, the people in this room, with improvement science as a guide, that's important. The discipline matters. We can lead it. I don't think we should abandon the dignity of era 1. Let's preserve the duty of professions. Let's preserve the promise of scientific mastery. Let's keep those. And we shouldn't abandon the transparency of era 2, the sensible, important questions about payment systems that actually can help us assemble what Sean needs. I had that. Instead of making it harder to help, let's keep those. But era 3, it needs a new foundation, different turtles, less reliance on measurement and incentives, less clutching of professional prerogatives, less focus on money for its own sake, and louder, much more clear-headed, more relentless opposition to greed. Its leverage, the leverage of era 3, it's in discipline, commitment to continual improvement as a strategy, to measurement that helps, to putting patients and families in power, to insistent civility, less yelling, more listening. I think era 3 needs a name. I propose a contest to name it. My entry, the moral era. Better than professional dominance, better than accountability and incentive. Or how about the return to purpose? How about Sean's time? I've mentioned in past forum speeches a formative moment for me in my training as a doctor. It was in the very first few weeks of medical school, and I was seeing I think maybe the very first hospitalized patient I'd ever seen. It was an elderly woman. She was waiting for a gallbladder operation. And my tutor, my assigned tutor, was Dr. Edward Frank. I mentioned him from this platform in recent years. I was all ready. I'd prepared. I'd memorized the questions from what was called the famous Red Book at Harvard Medical School, which was the guide to the clinical examination and interview. So with Dr. Frank, I entered the room, began, so Mrs. Goldberg, when did your pain start? And Dr. Frank, he stopped me, he put his hand on my shoulder, I remember, and he said very gently, he said, when you talk to a patient, Don, sit down. So I sat. And then I started again. So when did the pain start? And then Dr. Frank did it again, put his hand on my shoulder, he interrupted me. He said, do you know, Don, that Mrs. Goldberg has a brand new grandchild? I have never forgotten that beautiful instruction, least of all now when I have grandchildren. Sit down, be there. And then the grandchild, the life, the person, all somehow much more important than the task and the mechanics. It's relationship, Dr. Frank was teaching me. It's relationship all the way down.